In September 2019, two children disappeared in Idaho, 7-year-old J.J. Vallow and his 16-year-old sister Tylee Ryan. Their mother, Lori Vallow, told people the kids were visiting relatives or staying with friends.
Where are your kids?
No comment.
No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
When police asked to see the children, Lori and her new husband Chad Daybell fled to Hawaii. 9 months later, police found J.J. and Tylee's remains, buried in Chad Daybell's backyard in Idaho. But the children weren't the only victims. Within a single year, 4 people connected to Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were dead. And the reason why shocked investigators, because Lori and Chad believed their victims had become zombies, dark spirits possessing human bodies. This is how doomsday beliefs led to one of the most disturbing murder cases in American history. The Believers. Lori Vallow seemed like a normal mother. She had been married 4 times, had 3 children, lived a suburban life in Arizona, but in 2018, everything changed. She met Chad Daybell at a religious conference. Chad was a self-published author who wrote books about the end times. He claimed to have visions. He said he could see people's past lives. Chad was married to Tammy Daybell. They had 5 children together, but Chad and Lori started an affair. And they developed a belief system that would justify murder. They believed in zombies, not the Hollywood kind, but dark spirits that could possess human bodies. They claimed they could identify these zombies, and they believed it was their mission to free the world from them. Lori's friend Melanie Gibb later testified that Lori told her J.J. and Tylee had become zombies, that dark spirits had taken over their bodies. According to Chad and Lori's twisted logic, the only way to free a zombie was to kill the body. This wasn't just religious extremism, it was a delusion they used to justify getting rid of anyone standing in their way. The first death, Charles Vallow. July 11, 2019. Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, was shot and killed in her Arizona home. The shooter was Lori's brother, Alex Cox. He claimed self-defense. Police filed no charges. Charles had been trying to divorce Lori. In the paperwork, he claimed Lori believed she was a god destined to usher in the second coming of Christ, and that she said if he interfered, she would kill him. Charles also mentioned Lori's relationship with Chad Daybell. Before the divorce could be finalized, Charles was dead. Lori collected his $1 million life insurance payout. Prosecutors later argued the shooting was murder, orchestrated by Lori to get rid of Charles and collect the insurance money. The children disappeared, September 2019. Just 2 months after Charles's death, J.J. and Tylee disappeared. Tylee was last seen September 8th at Yellowstone. J.J. was last seen at school September 23rd. By October, relatives started asking where the children were. Lori gave vague answers. When J.J.'s grandparents reported them missing in November, police visited Lori's Idaho home. She refused to say where the children were. 2 days later, Lori and Chad fled to Hawaii. While police searched for 2 missing children, Lori and Chad posted beach photos on social media. The second death, Tammy Daybell. Before fleeing to Hawaii, Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy, died, October 19, 2019. Tammy was found dead in her bed. She was 49 years old, initially ruled natural causes, but the timing was suspicious. Just 2 weeks later, Chad married Lori in Hawaii. Tammy's family demanded answers. Her body was exhumed. The autopsy revealed she was suffocated. Chad had texted Lori about Tammy's death percentage. They discussed how dark her spirit had become. Prosecutors argued Chad murdered Tammy so he could be with Lori. The discovery. June 9, 2020. Police executed a search warrant on Chad Daybell's property in Rexburg, Idaho. They found human remains. Buried in the backyard, JJ's body was wrapped in plastic and duct tape in a shallow grave. Tylee's body had been dismembered and burned. The children had been dead for 9 months, buried on Chad's property. Both Chad and Lori were arrested, charged with murder, conspiracy, and concealment of evidence. The trials. Lori's trial began in April 2023. Prosecutors presented text messages between Lori and Chad discussing death percentages, identifying zombies, and planning murders. They showed how Lori's belief system escalated, how she went from devout Mormon to believing she was a god preparing for the apocalypse. They proved Lori and Chad saw JJ and Tylee as obstacles. The children interfered with their vision of the future together. And according to their beliefs, the children were zombies that needed to be eliminated. Evidence showed Lori's brother, Alex Cox, likely carried out the actual killings. His phone pinged near Chad's property when the children were buried, but Alex died in December 2019. of natural causes. He could never be held accountable. May 12, 2023. The jury found Lori guilty on all counts. First-degree murder of JJ and Tylee. Conspiracy to murder Tammy Daybell. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Chad Daybell's trial came in May 2024. The evidence was just as damning. The jury found him guilty of first-degree murder in the deaths of Tammy, JJ, and Tylee. On June 1st, 2024, Chad Daybell was sentenced to death. The fourth death. There's one more victim in this case, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, the man who shot Charles Vallow, the man who likely killed the children. He died suddenly in December 2019. The medical examiner ruled it natural causes, a blood clot, but many investigators suspect Alex knew too much. Some believe Lori or Chad may have poisoned him. It's never been proven, but the timing is suspicious. The delusion. How does someone go from suburban mother to murdering their own children? The answer lies in the belief system Lori and Chad created together. Chad wrote books about the end times. He claimed spiritual visions. He said he was a prophet. Lori believed him completely. Together they created a worldview where they were heroes saving the world from zombies, preparing for the apocalypse, God's chosen people. And anyone who interfered was evil, possessed, a zombie. This wasn't mental illness in the traditional sense. Both were found competent to stand trial. This was folie à deux, a shared delusion. Two people reinforcing each other's fantasies until murder seemed justified. The victims. It's easy to focus on the shocking details, the zombie beliefs, the doomsday predictions, but the real story is about the victims. JJ Vallow was a 7-year-old boy with autism, loved by his grandparents who desperately tried to find him. Tylee Ryan was a 16-year-old girl protective of her younger brother. Tammy Daybell was a 49-year-old mother of 5, a teacher, a librarian, a beloved member of her community. Charles Vallow was trying to protect his stepson JJ. He saw the warning signs. He tried to get help, and he was murdered for it. These weren't zombies. They were real people with families who loved them. The aftermath. Lori Vallow Daybell is serving life in prison without parole in Idaho. In 2025, she was also convicted in Arizona for conspiring to murder Charles Vallow. She faces additional life sentences. Chad Daybell is on death row in Idaho. The case has raised important questions about religious extremism, shared delusions, and how people can be radicalized by charismatic leaders. The lesson. The Daybell case is a reminder that the most dangerous people aren't always obvious monsters. Lori Vallow was a mother who murdered her children because she convinced herself they were possessed. Chad Daybell was an author who killed his wife because he wanted a new life with his mistress. They wrapped their crimes in religious language, called their victims zombies, claimed they were doing God's work, but in the end, they were just murderers using faith as an excuse for evil. 4 people are dead, 2 children buried in a backyard, all because 2 people believed their delusions more than they valued human life. That's the true horror of the Daybell cult murders.